I'm here tonight with special guests. We got Dylan Rankin, who'll be
Come on, guys.
on March 2nd at the Heroes on the Mat, as well as we got Joe Pete Roy, who'll be promoting the event as well and doing the matchmaking. Welcome, gentlemen.
Yep. Thanks for the second time, Kyle. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. So, Dylan, we're going to hop into you with a couple questions. You know, last time we spoke, you fought an MMA fight for the first time. Now you're transitioning to just grappling. You're taking on Donald Wagner. Tell us a little bit about um, your thoughts on taking this matchup.
I'm amped up. This was a really cool opportunity to do something like this. I remember, so I was going to take some time off competing, and then I was in the middle of the move and everything too, and I was painting my new spot, and then I saw my phone start blowing up. I'm like, and I kept getting tagged in this post by multiple people. I'm like, oh, like what is this? First ever all first responder jujitsu card. I'm like, oh man, it took me a week and a half of like, I think I'm gonna chill with the competing for a little bit, and I was like, I changed my mind immediately, So that was cool. And then I did listen to the podcast last night with Donald. I'm excited. I'm for sure excited. I think it's just gonna be a dog fight, and that's what I like to do. So again, Joe, thanks for the opportunity, man. I'm really really pumped to do this. Yeah. Yeah.
This fight card's getting a lot of buzz. A couple people have reached out to me about wanting to get on the card. I know I passed them along to you, Joe, and then another fighter reached out saying that they're competing on the card and they want to set up an interview to do. So there's a lot of buzz circling this. Joe, did you expect it to get this much buzz? Now, do you have a main event set up for this, Joe? Like, is like a fight or a matchup that you want to be the main event? Okay. All right. Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm curious too, Joe. Yeah, good.
Dylan, tell us what you expect from your opponent. Like we asked him this similar question last night. He's a wrestler. He has no MMA matches or anything like that. This is the first kind of like event he's doing. What do you expect from your opponent, Wagner?
I'm expecting an attack heavy approach. I mean, typically, like when wrestlers transition jujitsu, what are you trying to do? You're trying to push the pace in wrestling. You're trying to do exactly what you're good at, which there's no problem there. That's why wrestlers typically tend to do good at jujitsu. They belt up a little bit quicker. So I'm expecting him to come out of the gate really hard, really fast, and just start pushing the pace and seeing if he could take me down. So I'm expecting that, and I'm just expecting him to be pretty strong-willed the entire time.
Now this matchup is the purple belt. I asked him the same question I'm going to ask you. What was your journey like to get to become a purple belt in jiu-jitsu?
So my journey to get to purple belt was, I don't know, it was really up and down. So when I started out with jujitsu, I mean, it was immediate. It was 6 days a week. I remember, like, I ditched weightlifting. I was just like, no, it's all we got to do. We got to go, go, go. So I got my blue belt in about 10 or 11 months. And then once I got my blue belt, I know we spoke briefly on this the last time I was on here, but I would take the wrestling season off because I would take the wrestling season off from jujitsu because I couldn't balance the two
Okay.
because I was running the four teams at the same time. It was too much. So I take about 4 months off, go back to jujitsu, feel like I never lost a step because the wrestling was on point. So I went up and down. So in 2019, I ended up getting my purple belt. And like that was cool because I got it with one of my best friends, Steve Lee, who, is the assistant coach at Longo's. Like me and him got it together. I have a buddy, he is a national deputy sheriff, and we got the purple belt at the same time as well. So got it with a good group of people. And from there, again, it's just like you just keep trying to get better every day. So that journey, a lot of ups and downs, but for sure worth it.
Awesome. And um, you're talking about your journey, and you come from a gym, Longo's MMA, where there's a lot of high level athletes in there. Tell us a little bit about just training in there in general and what it's done for you. I know we kind of briefly talked about this, but tell us what it's done for you as an athlete and a competitor for now, for your MMA fight, now your jiu-jitsu matchup coming up.
Oh, for sure. I mean, training Longos is like nothing else in the world. My first day in there, I wrestled Marab for 2 hours. I was big. I was competing
Jeez.
like yeah, Devashvili. I competed in strongman in college because I got hurt. I couldn't wrestle, took the time off, and I was like, let's do something fun. So I'm like about like 220, 230. I walk in there. I came in for a wrestling class. I'm like, it's an easy way to kind of transition in. And it got canceled. I wasn't on the group chat yet, day one. And it's just me and him in there. I don't know who he is. Nobody knows who he is. Marab doesn't really speak English. This dude suplexed me for it had to be an hour and a half. And he just kept saying, go, go. Like he's asking me, like, I can't say no. I got to keep going. I don't think I got one offensive position on this guy. So that's how it started. And then it was just from there, you just meet guys and like, when we come from a very bare bones, very what's the word? Very intense, like grappling style, especially like back in like 2015, 2016. We had guys that wanted it. We'd stay for an hour rolling live after class, before we all hit our 30s where we're broken down. So, yeah, I mean, that was like a solid crew like that for like 4 or 5 years. And then once we all started getting our purple belts, we kind of transitioned out. We're going to Sarah's for a little bit, and then pandemic hit and it kind of just threw everything out. But once everything settled back down, I told you I moved to Texas. Once I moved back, it was right back to Longo's, right back to the intensity and getting back in it. So it's just a super intense room where everybody wants to help each other. And now I actually, since I moved, I'm about an hour away from Longo's now, so
Okay.
I'm actually training at Freedom BJJ out in
Okay.
Cashon. I'm
Awesome.
still at Longo's on my days off. I'll go in and like train with everybody, but like, with being a police officer and having the rotating schedule, I'm mostly at Freedom just for my jujitsu though. And they have been, it's an almost identical crew to Longo's, just a bunch of blue collar, hard working grapplers and just trying to get after it, make everybody better every day.
Absolutely, absolutely. Joe, tell us a little bit how jujitsu has helped you in your situation. You're a corrections officer, different environment. Tell us how that's helped you in your career. Absolutely. It's almost like where like you're talking about if it's on camera, um, more defensive than being aggressive and making it look like you're the attacker instead of defending and kind of neutralizing the threat. Um, Absolutely, and we got a couple of questions. Logan's asking when this is taking place. Logan, this is taking place on March 2nd. It's a Sunday at Mulcahy's. It's being co-hosted between Joe and Bobby Campbell of Jackhammer Promotions. Should be a great event. Um, I'm expecting it to be sold out and just packed venue with because the community, I believe, in law enforcement or first responders always support each other, which is pretty unique and awesome within itself. So uh, you definitely want to get tickets.
Listen, Suffolk County's got some deep waters. We're at the academy. We'll get together, go to the academy here and there. I think CJ Delaney does such an incredible job over there, getting us down to train and like the guys that aren't experienced. He will run them through a free jujitsu class, and anytime he is always ready to give instructions. So I don't think that guy gets his flowers enough. But with us having the deep waters, it's funny. I'll go down there. I'll have a good week of training. I'll feel pretty good about myself, and I'll just go in there. I get smoked by somebody, and they're like, "Yeah, he's a black belt, state champion wrestler." I'm like, "Yeah, it's wild." I'm like, "He's another Suffolk guy." It's just very very deep waters in Suffolk.
And Suffolk's been known to have some phenomenal wrestling in high school. It's usually been top tier, and Section 8, which is Nassau, they've always had
Mhm.
phenomenal wrestling. So wrestling on Long Island has been very good for many years. So definitely has strong roots. And then I was also curious, like the academies, I always hear about how they train in boxing and they teach boxing in the NYPD Academy and other um, law enforcement academies. Is jujitsu now taught as part of the academy and training?
Huge.
Okay.
They're getting away from the boxing, especially like from the live sparring, 'cause, like recruits are getting hurt,
Okay.
and I think again it's just good to teach the grappling because it looks great on camera, and honestly, it's about grappling is control, striking isn't about control. It's kind of who gets hit first and who hits harder, and the grappling's your best insurance policy.
Absolutely. Dylan, what can we expect from you in this matchup against Wagner? How do you expect it to play out?
Again, I expect him to come out of the gate pretty hard, but I'm expecting to do the same thing. So try to just match and move for move, and see who gets who down to the mat. But for me, my biggest strength is my cardio. So even if he has a wrestling advantage, which I'll say it right here, I believe he does have the wrestling advantage on me. He's got a little bit of a size advantage too, but I think my cardio is my biggest weapon. And I think, what is it, 7 minutes? I'm gonna
So it's
say
gonna be like one round. That's Joe. I was about to hop into that. How is it breaking down the different level of the belts, purple and blue and white? Like how long are the rounds going to be for each one? Okay, and that's just one round, correct? Awesome. And For those who can't make it there, there'll be a pay-per-view which will be taking place at jackhammerfights.com, and a portion of that will go to a charity that I know we're still discussing and trying to figure out which one we're going to put it towards. But a portion of the proceeds from that we're going to go to the charity as well. It's going to benefit first responders. So I'm looking forward to this. This should be a great event. I'm looking forward to commentating it. I know Joe, like having you sit next to us and talking about the fighters and the different skill sets in jiu-jitsu should be exciting and entertaining as well. Awesome. And you know, Dylan, before we let you go, what's one thing about you that nobody knows but you want everyone to know?
All right, I got it. So for me, it's like if I meet you, I don't care who it is. I just by meeting me, I want to just impact your life in a positive way, and that's the only thing I want people to know about me. I meet you, I want you to be positively impacted by whatever meeting that we had.
Awesome. And Joe, what about you? What's one thing about you that nobody knows? Okay. Nice. Did you have one of those 40-foot Santas on your front lawn? Nice, nice.
Joe, I like your answer better than mine. That was incredible.
That's awesome.
Hmm?
Well, hey, if someone wants to get tickets, Joe, how can they get the tickets? I just pulled it up. It's 631-532-7887. So if you want tickets, call there, text, and you can get some tickets for Sunday, March 2nd. Heroes on the Mat, all first responders event. It's going to be a great one. If you can't go, definitely check out the pay per view on jackhammerfights.com. I thank you, Joe and Dylan, for joining me here tonight. It's always a pleasure talking to
Thank you
you.
again,
I
Kyle.
look forward to seeing you compete, Dylan.
Oh yeah, and Joe, again, thank you for putting all this together, man. This is a big deal. I think this is going to be a long term thing. So thank you again. Yeah, let's go.
Awesome. Thank you, gentlemen. See
Thank
you
you.
on Sunday, March 2nd.
The-
Awesome. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. Hey, Dylan,
Kyle,
you
what's
know
up, brother?
you know Katie Skip on?
Katie Skip on.